Hi then, welcome back. And in this lesson, we're going to be talking about happiness and embracing your inner child. So what does it mean to embrace and nurture your inner child? Well, bear with me, okay? If you're like I used to be, then you may feel, well, a little bit put off by the idea of an inner child. However, just open up to this, okay? You won't regret it, of that I'm absolutely sure. So let's take a look. Okay, so we all suffered hurt as children, all right? And it isn't a competition, okay? One thing I learned a long time ago is that everything is relative, okay? It's impossible to grow up in this world unscathed, even with the best of parents and even in the best of circumstances. And the thing is that often we suppress negative emotions. For some of us, the wounds that we get when we're children may not be all that visible, or we may not consider them important enough to pay attention to them. However, the hurt and the things that we maybe suffered as children can come back to haunt us in unexpected ways as we grow older. So a part of what it takes to embrace your inner child is to do what you can to, if you like, identify and heal those wounds. Now, here's the thing, okay? These things tend to crop up in ways that seem to be almost out of the blue. However, the reason I say embrace your inner child is because, in actual fact, these things tend to surface when you're in a really good place, a good place to deal with them, whether or not you realize it or not at the time. So let's take a look at an example of this, okay? Let's say, for example, that maybe your dad worked all the time and never had time for you. Now, this is something that I can kind of relate to, actually. It's not that my dad didn't have time for me. He did. He was a great dad. It's more that he didn't have time for anything, including himself, by the way. However, honestly, that bothered me a lot through my childhood. So I get this scenario, okay? Now, naturally, as an adult, you forgive him, don't you? Because after all, he was only trying to do his best to provide for his family, and he was working after all. All the same, that little child in you might still feel somewhat neglected and perhaps even a little bit abandoned. And your fears about abandonment could even cause problems in your relationships today. And here's the thing, those beliefs and those values are opinions surrounding relationships, and they were formed when you were much, much younger. So they're no longer relevant for the you as you are today. Maybe your childhood was truly unhappy, and the thing is, you deserve to heal. And you deserve happiness. So you owe it to yourself to do whatever it takes to allow yourself to heal. Now, another thing that we can do to nurture our inner child is to stop criticizing ourselves. Many of us internalize the critical voices that hammered against us when we were children, and we continue to yell in our own minds at our inner child long after the actual voices have stopped. If you know that this is something that you do, start to become aware of the times that it happens. Now, one powerful way to stop it is to have a no-nonsense discussion with the critical voice inside your head. Perhaps you associate a parent or another person with the sound of this internal chatter. And if so, what you can do is give it a name, personify it, and then talk to it, giving it commands to stop bringing up things from the past. As strange as that may sound, the process is really, really effective. Now, just as we all have an inner child, we all also have an inner parent who knows precisely what the child needs most. And you can call upon the skills, if you like, of your inner parent to assure your inner child that you love him or her unconditionally. Now remember, all of this is metaphors, okay? This is all metaphorical to the unconscious mind, and it helps the unconscious mind to process all of the information and come up with the results that you require. All right, imagine yourself wrapping your arms around that child, holding that child, and assure him or her that you'll keep them safe or that you'll love them unconditionally. And once your inner child feels safe and protected, it will then be free to be imaginative and creative like it always was at the default setting. And if you ever watch young children, you know that very young children approach life with an enormous amount of joy until they learn otherwise usually from adults around them. Now, every day is a new adventure to children, and simple pleasures bring them a whole load of joy. Blowing bubbles in the back garden is every bit as much fun as a trip to Disneyland. A cardboard box can be as much fun as a PlayStation with the right creative mind engaged. And when you allow yourself to play by trying something new, whether it's a food or a new hobby, your inner child gets to play too. So nurture your inner child and allow your playful side to emerge, because When your inner child can come out to play, the adult that you are now will have a much, much better chance at being happy.